Hi. Hello everyone, and hope everyone's doing well. And tonight's talk is going to be all about being, well, topic is love relationships. Or a love relationship. Yeah, love relationship. What is it and what we're looking for in a love relationship? So, I pulled out some cards to help me actually guide this talk a little bit about, because I already had received some messages on exactly what I should talk about this topic, and it's been on not my mind so much, but it's been on other people's minds, friends around me, and also a lot of the questions that I get asked as a tarot reader and a psychic is regarding love, relationships, mostly about the one to come. And when is it going to be? How is it going to be? Where should I look? What should I do? Is generally the general questions that do come up. So usually I love, by the way, these types of questions, and especially in regards to relationships. And I really felt like I needed to put something out there, especially since the last 2 weeks. I've been not inundated, but I've been asked a lot regarding relationships and looking for relationships, and people who are having trouble finding relationship and finding love. Most of the times, generally, hands down, what it boils down to is that we ourselves, or the person who's coming to me with these questions or problems, generally are having a hard time loving themselves, themselves for who they are, where they're at, especially being single. And when we're put in that place, or when we ourselves actually put ourselves in that place of not feeling loved, or not having love, or not feeling wanted, or having the ability or the timing for that, we literally box ourselves. We get consumed by those feelings, and whether we're in love or out of love, we can be consumed by those feelings. It could be a blessing and a curse. So in those cases, what I tend to do for myself, and I also give this advice to people, is that we need to center ourselves in love and do things to love ourselves, to respect ourselves enough to really acknowledge, what it takes to love ourselves. So for me, I just love anything metaphysical. I love collecting tarot cards. I love pedicures. I love mud masks, to be honest. If I can do a mud mask every day, I would do a mud mask every day. Pampering yourself, eating healthy, going to the gym. I love riding my bike, so I do a lot of that whenever I can, even sometimes when I know I shouldn't. I should, and I should. When I know that I should and I don't want to ride my bike because I know it'll make me happy, I'll ride my bike like I did today. Not that I wasn't feeling happy, I was just feeling achy. So we need to do things that help us to feel better, to really love, to acknowledge the fact that we're worthy of being taken care of, and that we really physically have the ability, the things to make us happy, whether it may be personal objects, money, and people. Another thing that I usually tell people is that, do something for somebody else, so you can get yourself out of that frame of thought and feeling, or put yourself out there and ask someone to go out with you on a date, whether it might be a movie, or trying a new restaurant, or maybe even going to the park, or stargazing, or whatever it may be. The idea is to get outside of yourself so that you won't be, the only person in the world or your world, the only person in the universe. Also, doing things with other singles usually helps. Staying stuck in that place of self-pity, of that space where it feels like there's no love, can promote and actually help us to manifest more of those things. And before you know it, you may manifest somebody who feels the same way, and they're looking for love, and then you're in the wrong type of relationship. You don't want to be in those. Trust me, I've been there. The other thing that you may want to also do is that, if you have just one particular friend or family member that you're always going to for love, or just that one source of food or comfort that gives you love, you don't want to overdo it either. You want to actually be healthy, take a little bit here, take a little bit of this, maybe have several friends, have a list of several friends and things that you can try to do to get yourself out of those feelings of isolation, of feeling alone, of feeling that you're not loved or worthy. When we start doing those things, what generally happens is that along the way that we start acknowledging, I let go of this feeling, I let go of this way of thinking, I let go, and I surrender to that thought pattern. And then what we're doing also is that we're embracing life, and we're embracing possibilities, we're embracing potentials, and we're magnetizing then what we truly most likely need is that, people who love us. So the other thing with relationships and finding love relationships is that we have to then acknowledge and be very clear, what do we want in a relationship? Do we want people who treat us the way that we are treated? Do we want a soulmate relationship? If we don't want a soulmate relationship, then, do I want a loving relationship with just anyone? And then, before we even go there, we really have to acknowledge the fact that I'm not perfect, we're not perfect, no one else in the world is perfect. So if I don't want that soulmate relationship, be open. I am open to someone, who's healthy for me, who whatever, has money and also has love, or security. I generally tend to stay away from asking for security, because if I don't have it for myself, I know I'm not going to have it in a relationship. Because in relationship, we're all bringing things to get, both of the people are bringing and adding to the relationship, the relationship. It takes two to make a relationship. So if I bring security to the relationship and somebody else brings security to the relationship, then we're pretty much good, right? I am so sorry if you hear a blender right now. I am at Starbucks, one of my favorite Starbucks in Philadelphia, and it's just interrupting probably the talk. Hello to you too, Aldo. I see you there. We're talking about relationships and, love relationships and finding them. So it takes two to tango. We need to first be mindful as well and be clear exactly who we want, and how do we know what we want? We actually look at how we nurture ourselves. We look after ourselves. Can somebody do that better, or can somebody do that halfway? And are you willing to be open to that? And are you also open to, having the relationships? Relationships takes a lot of work. Relationships, is not only about love. That's another thing that people who come to me with relationship questions do not acknowledge, the fact that it's not only about love or sex. There's a great deal behind all of that. But if those are the things that you're looking for and are willing to be open to the rest and working towards a relationship, then the likelihood of attracting and being clear and attracting exactly what you want you stand more of a chance. So we have to be clear with ourselves so we could be clear with the universe, who is always providing. Aldo says he's always open but seems to find the wrong one all the time. So here we go again. Finding the wrong one all the time means that we're doing something wrong in terms of fulfilling our own self-love and what we're open to attracting. So if we're the type of person that is always nurturing ourselves in the wrong possible ways, and we're not being healthy about it, and we're not stepping outside of ourselves in order to go an extra mile outside of that space and zone of not loving ourselves, or actually admitting to ourselves, is this true love that we're giving ourselves, then we're always going to be attracting that what we are thinking and feeling, and what we're always believing, again, here we go with honesty, that we deserve, or what we are giving ourselves, what we're feeding ourselves. So if I'm the type of person that is always constantly going to getting out of my self-pity or loneliness of being a single person, to that one person who is not a very healthy person, who does not call me on my BS, or who is always enabling me to destroy myself, my diet, my way of thinking, then obviously I'm not making a healthy choice, and obviously I'm staying in some form of denial, and I'm attracting the wrong one. If I'm always thinking about a relationship and I'm not clear about a relationship that I want is healthy for me, then I'm actually making a bad decision. I'm always attracting, and I have been there, I attract people who are not healthy for me. So let's say I have all these lists, I have this one list of people, that one person that I has to fit all these needs, and I forget the fact that we're all human, right? But at the top of my list is, great sex and beautiful body and beautiful personality. And I wound up, the universe brings me, such person, right? And that's mainly what I want, and that's all I think of. Then I'm going to attract and magnetize a person with a great looking body, great personality, right? Never says no to me. And, the dark side of it all is that the person will probably have nothing in common with me, nothing to share with me in the relationship, who's probably going to be needy and want a lot of my time, and believe me, I've been there, to the point where I give too much in the relationship and I am depleted, and then all things that I truly need in a relationship get overlooked. So that is just one way of thinking of things. I'm speaking here generally so that I actually, get everyone here and all types of different situations, but these are the key things and elements that we need to look at. And also, we need to forgive ourselves along the process. Once we are truly clear and honest about, how we really need love and what we need out of a loving relationship. And here I am talking about love relationships. And we have to also be clear about what love is, because love, it's very general, it's very broad. Love can't just be one particular type of emotion or box or fulfillment. Love comes in many different shapes and forms, but true love, honest love, clear love is a type of love that will satisfy all needs in a relationship. So if we can become clear and honest about that, and then forgive ourselves also along the process for the times that we made bad decisions, for maybe, seeing a situation in a former relationship that was bad because you maybe were the source of attracting that type of relationship. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for making wrong decisions, toward ourselves and other people in the process. And forgive others as well, because, just because you didn't know any better, the other person probably didn't know any better. And they probably still don't know any better, or probably you don't know any better still. It's a learning process, it's a working process, so we all should always definitely be thinking about forgiveness and always working towards not perfecting our honesty and our views of what a relationship should be, but definitely working on ourselves to be more honest with ourselves and what we want in life and what we are seeing too. Because what we feel and what we see can be two different things, and if we can work to actually balance them out, then that type of experience you're going to be bringing into a relationship, and you should be asking for the same thing in a relationship with someone else, so that when we both parties bring those qualities to the relationship is whole and wholesome, healthy, and the vision that we have, also the outlook that we have about people and the world and our emotions are clear and wholesome, so that the relationship itself is not damaging both parties, you and the other person, and the world. All basis of love, generally, if you really take an indigenous approach to it, is nurturing. Love is nurturing. Love makes us feel good. And there's such a thing as being addicted to love and wanting too much of it, and denying yourself the reality of how much you're taking and how unhealthy you're being in your pursuits of love. So we want to be healthy in our approach. We want to be clear. We want to know that we're deserving also of love, that we're capable, and because we're born, it means that we were meant to be loved. And love is out there for everyone, every shape and size, and every thought form. And, it's true. Every thought form, any list that you may have, the universe will present you with a person that you want on that list, or even better. But how would you acknowledge that if you're not in that state of perception? So, we have further comments here in the chat room, and I have come to the end of my talk, so I'm open to questions and answers. And I have here something from Aldo. Again, I'm good with me, and I don't care what people think about me, because in the end, it's all about Aldo being happy. That's great. But you have to also think, Aldo, you don't want to also isolate yourself from people and what people think. So in terms of, maybe shielding yourself and building a protective wall around you, that's great. But be honest about the healthy things that you attract and want to bring into your life. You don't want to meet somebody else with a wall up. Megan says, being in a relationship is a lot of work. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. Yeah, I definitely agree on that one. And I think I need to work being more self-confident. Yeah, see, again, it's all about work, but first of all, we need to work on ourselves. I took a hiatus, from dating and sex, and just looking for a relationship, just to work on myself. And for 5 years, I dedicated my time for, to not date, to not have sex, and to really put myself in, not in seclusion, but in a group of people who were also single or were in relationships that were working on themselves, and who were actually living a healthy lifestyle. And then I made a decision. I wanted to attract more single people, more gay men who were actually living like that, working on themselves. and living life, bettering themselves so they can actually, have a healthy life and a healthy relationship eventually. And then after that period was over, I knew I was ready to go out and date again. And I started attracting, like, unbelievably, sometimes exactly what I wanted, and sometimes not really exactly what I wanted. And some of those times I knew that I still needed to refine what I wanted, what was really healthy for me. And that was still part of the process, and I had to have fun with it. So it made a hell of a difference, and I still have fun dating and having, small relationships and looking for a larger, a good relationship where it's a very wholesome relationship. Okay, so I have a little more questions here. Aldo says, I don't isolate myself, I just keep myself away from negativity. That's great. That is definitely awesome. But never back down from any negative situation that you can handle. That's what I always say, because it's always healthy also to know that you can still handle negativity. And you don't have to run away from negativity. You can stand up for yourself, and that's part of actually being healthy and taking care of yourself. Megan says, I'm always worried about being cheated on and having my heart broken. See, Megan, that I've had that, and I suffered from that for a while, especially when I've met like the boyfriend. But what wound up happening was that when I started working on myself, and I started working on that part of myself when I started dating again, I found out from even like talking with other single people that that is a fear that we have of control. That's another form of control to controlling your environment. So be careful, when you feel like that, and it's also a way of putting ourselves down too. Self-esteem issues here. I hold up my hands. That is also directly linked to that as well. So self-esteem issues and control, be careful. Back up and say to yourself, I'm a very good-looking person. Whether or not the person cheats on me is not a factor. Is how you feel really in the inside. Plenty of people are going to break our hearts, and the only way that we're gonna love even stronger is if we deal, we actually allow the process of a broken heart. So whenever we go out dating, and this is one of the big risks, and I vowed that I would take these risks when I went dating again, was that I would eventually, somehow, somebody was going to rub me the wrong way and my heart would be broken. And how would I deal with that? At that point, I had a healthy set of tools in order to deal with that, and I acknowledged the fact that, I'm much stronger now, and I'm much wiser, and I have a healthy skill set now in order to deal with a broken heart, if it ever came to that part. The willingness to accept life on life's terms can be very empowering. And this takes me back to that other talk I did about weaknesses, and how our weaknesses could be our greatest source of strength. So if you go back to that talk, you'll get a lot more information on that. But I wouldn't be worried, and would work on that more and more about being cheated and having a broken heart. Tracy Ann says, I still don't know if I'm in the right relationship. It's new. Still don't know if we're right together. See, that's part of the process, Tracy Ann. That's the part of the process that we all look forward to and dream of, but we really don't know it consciously too. Like, you want to be in a relationship with somebody, and you really, really want this love relationship, and you want it to be romantic. You want to be a soulmate one. You want to be this and that and that and that, and we kind of like, forget like the little details. Are we the right match now? And that's where a lot of like being clear about what you want also needs to take place before you get into a relationship. But once you're in the relationship, little things like that, are we right? That could be like the greatest part of the journey. Are we right? The only way you'll know is by actually applying yourselves, having those talks, those little intimate talks, arguing, maybe sometimes fighting about certain things in order to get the clarity and to see whether or not you really work well together. And there are signs to know whether or not, you're in a relationship with the right one. The other person never really takes away too much from you, or you don't take away too much from that other person. That, what you bring to the table is really making the relationship wholesome. Both of you guys are satisfied, either through sex, emotion, money, workout goals. You may want to start doing goals or start talking about the future and how you want the future together be, so that you can really find out and understand if you're going to really make that long run, Tracy Ann. Aldo says here, it's true, I've been cheated on by people that said they love me and where you live at, and there's too many game players. There are always game players, Aldo. There are always game players. One thing to understand about being single and going on dates and relationships is that it is a big game out there. And it is a game, and that's part of the, and it doesn't have to be a game of hurting people. So another thing, with forgiveness, which I really like doing with myself and with others, is that when I forgive myself for making wrong decisions, I actually acknowledge the situations that I've been in, and I'm saying to myself and the universe, I learned my lesson here. I know better next time when I see the red flags or I see the signs that I will not get into a relationship with this person, and I'm also acknowledging I'm going to make better and healthy decisions next time. And what are better healthy decisions? For me, it's, next times are, okay, I will be more open, and I will never be closed off, because the more open that I am, I know I'm allowing people to be who they are and show me who they are. And I have the ability to ask for what I want. So if I'm not getting back what I want and the other person's not responding in the same way, then chances are that person's not for me. Or maybe next time, I just won't jump in too quickly. Or maybe next time, I'll go on a couple more dates with this person before I really commit. So a lot to think about there. Megan says, I'm so glad Tracy showed your page to me. Your sermons are so enlightening. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Tracy. You really put things into perspective. Lots of love to you. Oh, thank you. Lots of love to you too. Namaste. Thank you for doing what you do. You're welcome. I love what I do. And that's another thing. If both people are happy and love what they do in life, then they magnetize each other, and we're all, that person is always out there for us. So they're always looking for us, and we're always looking for them, and we magnetize each other. Person, place, or thing, divine timing, boom. And I love what I do. The other person loves what they do and what I do, and we have similar interests. We become whole. And sometimes, we have to acknowledge again, it's a little work, and sometimes it just doesn't happen at light speed, and it's always about divine timing. Tracy Ann says, I think he is having outside input from others, and he questions us being together. When we're together, it's great, but when we're not, I get a feel of him second guessing himself. I do feel that a broken heart is better than feeling nothing at all. At least this means my heart has the ability to love, right? And rather than blocking out love, right? That is, and there's an old East Indian saying, I think it is, but I'm sure it just it bridges all cultures. And that saying is that in order to love greater, our heart needs to be broken. In order to know the truth of a reality, we have to make mistakes. In order to know the answers, we have to fail. In order to succeed, the mother of success is failure. So we have a lot of things to really think about in terms of love and our hearts being broken and where it leads us and the more that our hearts are broken, and I'm not saying go out there and get your heart broken all the time, but the more that it happens, it doesn't happen by accident, I don't think. It happens for a reason, and in like everything in the universe, in God's world, it happens for a reason, and we do have the ability to recover. We do have the ability to make healthy choices. And again, emphasis on we, I. You all have that ability. You all have that decision-making power. That is great power. That is great strength, that you have the ability to think and act for yourself. Nobody else is telling you what to do. So going back to Tracy Ann's original statement about whether he's second-guessing himself, and the psychic link that develops with people, and especially people in love relationships, where we can feel what the other person's thinking and sensing and what is going on in their world. You may be right, Tracy Ann, but again, like I told Megan earlier, we have to be confident. We have to have that security, that feeling that we're worthy, and that we are a loving people, and that there's no need for control. There's no need to control others or the situation. The situation is, if it's meant to be, it will work itself out, and through different means, without your control input. We could say prayers, we can we can ask for enlightenment for the other person. We could do those things, but eventually, worrying or feeling like the person's gonna leave you, it will definitely harm your efforts more than help it. The other person has free will, so everything in God's world or in the universe is never lost. And if we feel insecurity that we'll lose something and never get it back, maybe it's meant to be. And if you're not willing to face that, then you're not really willing to face a relationship. If you're not willing to risk being hurt, then you're not really willing to love and accept. Acceptance and gratitude plays a huge role in love and receiving and giving love. And remember, this year is all about giving and receiving. So that's what I had to say about that. I hope that helps you, Tracy Ann. Aldo, any negativity, I let my ancestors take care of it. Cool. That's cool. And my spirit guide that I have watching over me. That's very cool. That's awesome to have. Megan says, one of the sayings I love and try to live by is from Mama Ru. Oh, RuPaul. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Yep. Can I get an amen? That is true. That is so true. And I feel like that saying fits with everything you just said. Yes. Perfect. Yep. It does. And I live by that rule also. I also, when I'm engaging dates and looking for a love relationship, if the song that I'm singing, which is perhaps that lists what I'm feeling and thinking about, what I want in a loving relationship, does not clearly manifest from the other person that I go on a date with, and the song, they're off tune, and then I know right there and then, this is not the person that I want to be in a relationship, or this is not the person I want to have another date with in order to actually know whether or not I want to engage in a loving relationship with that person. Tracy Ann says, the last part was beautiful. Thank you. You're welcome. Amen. So, does anyone else want to have any clarity on what I just spoke about? Anything that I might have said that just doesn't seem very clear? Anything you want to ask before I close this talk? Make your questions or whatever you need to say known here in the comment section. And if you are watching this after this has dropped and loaded, and still have any questions about what I said, or any feedback as well, please provide it down below in the comment area. I have to say thank you everybody for being here and for taking part of this. I'm really psyched and satisfied that I'm listening to my intuition and just putting these videos out at perfect timing. I think this was a really nice chat, and I look forward to doing some more chats with you guys. Since nobody's really asking any questions or providing any feedback or comments, then I'm going to end this, and I'm going to bid you all a good night and lots of love in your life. You know, do things that satisfy you and bring you love. And in looking for love, also think beautifully about yourself and the potential that you have, and that other people have as well. So, you're welcome, Megan. And that's about it. So, if you are new and are watching this and would like to be informed of future talks, there is a subscription button somewhere up here. And there's always, you know, liking my fan page here on Facebook or on YouTube, or go follow me at www.beardedladyc.com. If you have specific questions about your love relationships or love life or anything else, I do provide tarot reading service privately, individually, and I also have astrological reports that I do on the basis of questions, as well as your own personal charts being developed. So that concludes this chat, and thank you again for subscribing, liking me, and following me, and all your support. Be well and co-create your life in a good way. Tainoti.